Welcome to Right on Track, a songwriting podcast. Thanks to Tone for tuning in. I'm Demi Michelle Schwartz, and I'm thrilled you're joining me on my songwriting journey. So kick back and relax, don't fall flat, and remember, stay right on track. Hello, lovely elves. Merry Christmas. I'm so excited you're tuning into this very special episode of Right on Track with a very special guest, one of my co-writers. Please welcome Lindsey Farrow. Hey, Lindsey.
Hi, everybody.
How are you?
Yeah, well, thank you. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm so excited you're joining me today because we're talking all about Christmas music. Perfect time. So, before we get into this, though, can you share with the listeners a little about yourself and how you got started in music?
Yeah, sure. So, my name's Lindsey Farrow. I started off originally when I was 2 years old performing in a community centre, and I was actually performing in a Ning Nang Nong by Spike Milligan, and it was a poem at the time. But that's how I started originally in performing. And apparently, you just saw me memorize these words and these little knees just bobbing along to the rhythm of it. So from then, I did start singing, and I joined some theatre groups where I got to play things like Annie. I got to play Little Cosette, as well as doing lots of ensemble work, lots of choirs, sung in church. But and then I became a trained secondary music teacher. But then after that didn't really work out, I knew that I always loved singing and it's something that I always loved to do. So I started writing my own things, started getting them out there. And I had an opportunity from a record producer who gave me a chance to record 3 tracks. And if I sold so many, then I'd get a record contract. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get that because I did get the sales, but I learned so much. And then from that, now I've got my own website, I've got my own songs that I release, I've got some really great contacts and people that I work with, including Demi Michelle, some really awesome people. And yeah, and even now I'm in a theatre group. We're going to be performing in a pantomime in January this year, where I'm going to be playing the fork. Now, with pantomimes, you have to change some of the things up. So, what I mean by that, Beauty and the Beast, as we know, is a very beloved Disney film. But to make sure you can perform it so it's not in the copyright, you have to change a few things. So technically, I'm a Mrs. Potts kind of character, but I'm the fork to make sure we don't get done.
That's fantastic. I really like how you mentioned how the record deal situation didn't work out, but despite that, you were able to find success in other areas and you took that website and you took your music and kept chasing that dream. I think that's really inspiring because something like that, like I know there's a lot of artists, me included, that sometimes when something doesn't work out, it can kind of be discouraging, but the fact that you took that and was like, oh, you know what? Like, this didn't work out, but I'm still going to do music and I still am going to keep doing theater and everything. I think that's awesome.
Well, it was one of those situations where, as soon as he said you have to sell 500 over 3 singles, let's be honest, nobody had a single clue who I was. So the chance of even getting anywhere close to 500 was really slim. So I actually took the opportunity and I saw how he recorded, how he broke the lines down, how he wrote a piece of music, how he released it, and how he monitored sales. So I actually saw it as more of a lesson rather than as oh, all my dreams are going to come true. Because I think it's really important that it's great when these opportunities come along, but always make sure your feet are on the ground.
For sure. Yeah, everything's a learning experience. I think it's really important to keep an open mind and treat things that don't work out. Don't look at those as failures. Just look at them as learning experiences and ways to grow. So, congrats on everything you've been doing. I'm super excited to chat about all things Christmas music today. So, can you read a fantastic quote to kick us off?
Sure. So our quote today is, Christmas isn't a season, it's a feeling. And that was said by the wonderful Edna Ferber.
So, what does this mean to you?
It is very much true for me. So Christmas happens once a year, but it's not necessarily, yeah, we follow all the routines, put up your tree, sing some songs, but without your feeling in the background of it, it would be just mundane and really simple. So for me, it's definitely when you put your songs on, you start rehearsing in September for any show, you start to get that little feeling then. Well, I don't know about this much this year because with the energy crisis, but when you put the heating on, if you can afford the heating, and you can smell the heat coming up from the radiator, you've got when you're wrapping the presents and the feeling you get thinking, oh, I hope they really like it, even though my wrapping is absolutely atrocious. And then, yeah, and then things like when you put up the Christmas tree, then you put on your decorations and your tinsel, and it's all of that. And like, although performing in a pantomime this year, I do like to go to see a pantomime just because it's so much fun. Like it's behind you and all of that. It's so good. And then you've got the music with the mandatory sleigh bells. You have to have sleigh bells in Christmas music at some point. And you've got songs with actions with them. It's a bit like revisiting an old friend.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love everything you said. I truly think that the heart of Christmas is the feelings and connecting with people and feeling the love and counting blessings and feeling grateful. It's like none of that would matter. Like Christmas wouldn't matter without that. Like I don't want to see the lights, I don't want to see the trees, I don't want to see the snow. Like none of that would matter if there wasn't that feeling that makes you so excited. Like like literally every Christmas I feel like I'm a child again. Like I I love elves and I adore them. They are so cute. I have some in my room year round, but during Christmas time there's like over 20. It's ridiculous. I think they're so cute. I have like all these stuffed reindeer all over the place. Like I'm such a child at Christmas. And I think like that's the thing is it takes you back to an innocent time and more simpler emotion that you felt when you were a child with all this wonder and like all this magic. I think Christmas time makes me remember that even though I'm an adult now and things are difficult sometimes, Christmas reminds me that I can hold on to the child in me and feel that happiness and feel that wonder. And definitely Christmas music is is a big part of that. And just being with loved ones and just feeling the magic in the air is so special to me. And so this quote speaks so much because even like during the summer, sometimes I'll play Christmas songs and I'll just feel that. And so that just shows that Christmas isn't just a thing we experience in December. It's something that you can hold on to year round. And I think reminding ourselves to, like whatever, however we are during Christmas time, like all the giving and all the caring, sometimes that can be lost during the year because Christmas reminds us to be that way. And so I think reminding ourselves to like not lose the magic during the year and refine that during Christmas if we have to.
Yeah, definitely. And with things that you were saying as well, that gratitude that we can feel and feeling thankful and even helping people out and people that might not have anywhere to go, bringing them in, giving them food, looking after people. Anybody, it doesn't have to be a family, it could be somebody down the street that's had a bad time. Just be like, hey, come on.
Absolutely. Yeah. And here in the States, we do Toys for Tots. And I try to do that every year and like just donate a toy because there's so many kids who don't get to really experience a Christmas. And just being that person going out of my way and giving to make a child smile on Christmas Day. It's just things like that. It's people are so kind during Christmas, and I really wish that that would last all year round. But seeing how people can be so good during Christmas gives me a spark of hope that there's still beauty in the world.
Yeah, yeah, I completely get it. We do the same kind of thing. And we've got things at work as well where we donate to needy families and donate money towards children in care so they get a special meal at Christmas time. And basically, people aren't forgotten. So, people are still loved no matter who they are, where they are, brings everyone together.
Absolutely. So, Christmas is definitely very special to both of us, and a big part of that is Christmas music. So, what about Christmas music makes you love it so much?
So it reminds me sometimes of old Christmas. concerts, church services, when we go to church on Christmas Day and singing Christmas carols. I love hearing the instrumentation. It brings everyone together and the feelings. And that's the main thing. So the songs aren't really empty. They feel like they have something important to say, from like the big numbers of All I Want for Christmas Is You, which is big, bouncy and singing, to like Elvis Presley's Blue Christmas. They're full of emotion and full of connection. And as a singer, I'm all about the emotional connection. I'm all about creating that kind of thing. And plus, it's the time of the year, as I've mentioned before, you have to have sleigh bells. You have to have, especially a glockenspiels. You've got to bring them out. You only bring them out once a year.
Yeah, I love that so much. I think that you bring up a perfect point with the emotion because tying back to the quote with the feeling is the emotion, and the emotion in the Christmas songs truly brings that magic to life. I think the thing I love so much about Christmas music is that it just makes me feel so happy or like at peace and excited, festive, and like the Christmas songs hit the whole spectrum. Like you mentioned, Mariah's and then Elvis's. Like you got an upbeat pop bop, and then you got like a more bluesy kind of Elvis track. But like they all have the heart of what Christmas is, and I think the cool thing about Christmas music that we'll explore a little later when we're talking about our own is that Christmas means different things to different people. And I think the cool thing about listening to different Christmas songs and really taking the time to listen to what the lyrics are saying, not just listen to the melody and the production, but really listen to what the lyrics are saying. And you get to really see many different perspectives of what makes Christmas Christmas. And I think it's really cool because we all have our own interpretations and we all have our own connections to that holiday, but seeing how other people take that and paint their songs in a way that's meaningful to them is always super interesting, and I love doing that. So you mentioned the sleigh bells, but other than sleigh bells, what else do you think makes a great Christmas song?
So for me, it's warmth in the song. So that doesn't have to mean that they're all happy music, because you've got like songs like Baby Come Home, but if you can feel the emotion coming from the singer, and it's also the songs that you really want to sing. So it's that you don't really get many Christmas songs that last are like filler songs. They have to be proper songs that you want to sing from your heart and just want to be fully involved with, and songs that everyone can get in together and sing. I mean, how many times you go down to either a disco or you go to a work event and they play something like Last Christmas or Fairy Tale of New York, and everybody's just getting involved and having a really good sing song.
Perfect, absolutely. Something else I really think is important in Christmas songs is the sensory details. There are so many things you can talk about, like the snow and decorating the tree and sitting by the fire and decorating presents, the red and green lights, and all of that, like spreading cheer. Like, I think the Christmas songs that really resonate with me, especially because I'm so deep into lyrics and creating vivid pictures, and I love that in the music I listen to. So I tend to gravitate toward the songs that really paint a picture of what Christmas looks like and feels like, and then tying a message to that that's important to the songwriter and the artist. And I also really love Christmas songs that feel timeless. Like so many Christmas songs, the way that they are, like the melodies and the way the songs are produced, it just has like this timeless feel that I feel like 2000 years later you can listen to it and it can keep that magic because Christmas is Christmas, like it will always be Christmas. And so I think Christmas songs that really paint those pictures and capture this timeless magic really draw me in.
Definitely. And I mean, it's always that thing where people say, like in the UK, it's not Christmas till you see the Coca-Cola advert and you hear holidays are coming. Or when you've got John Lewis adverts, so they're usually always emotional kind of adverts, but that really connects you and draws you in for that as well. So it's like all these different music, but they all have that core feeling of don't be alone at Christmas and let's celebrate and just be together.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So now let's chat a little bit about our own Christmas songs. So why don't you start with yours, Merry Christmas, My Love, and Snowblind?
Yeah, sure. So I wrote "Merry Christmas, My Love," and I believe I released it last year. So I got inspired by some of the Christmas songs that I heard quite a lot more the slow, downbeat ones. So I'm thinking Cliff Richard and that kind of thing. And I was also got thinking about Auld Lang Syne because that's the only song that seems to be sung when there's a new year. I mean, it's international, it's well known, that's brilliant. But I felt there wasn't as much celebrating the new year as well as Christmas. So I thought I'd put that together into a piece of music which just celebrates Christmas, has the feeling that you're singing it to your loved one. Merry Christmas, my love. Another year's over and another one's about to begin. And it's just that whole feeling of we're reflecting on what's happened in the past, what's happening now as we're all taking a break and having a moment, and where we want to be in the future. And it's just that whole thing. And obviously, it's got the sleigh bells in, it's got the glockenspiel because yeah, that just has to be. It also just has my vocals as well with all my harmonies. So I do a lot of harmony work within my music, and it just brings it all together into one warm feeling like you're in front of a log fire at Christmas time. So that's Merry Christmas, My Love. And also, which is available for streaming and downloads. Gotta do the plug whenever you can. And I also, there's another person that I co write with who's called Zephyr Hill Music. And he wrote a song called Snowblind. And he came across me and said, would you mind singing on this track for me? I've got the music here. Give it your own little bit of spice and what you want to do with that. So I did. I recorded it for him. I did go a little bit further. I did some additional harmonies. I love my harmonies. And it's one of those songs that's more of an 80s feel. So think of an upbeat kind of 80s take on me, just that kind of movement, electronic kind of sound. Yeah, and we released that as well, I believe, last year at the same time.
That's fantastic. Seriously, your harmonies are fantastic. Like, that's like one of your trademark things. Like, I cannot get over how amazing and crafty your harmonies are. It's ridiculous. It's so good.
Thank you. I blame musical theatre for that. If you're ever in the ensemble, and we did Guys and Dolls, there's a song called Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat. And it's in really close, like 3, 4 part harmony. And I was on the middle line. And seriously, how much it was drummed into us, what that note was in each bar, like that we're not going anywhere until we get this done. So it kind, I kind of started getting me used to harmonies, being confident in myself, confident singing the line, and then going through choirs where you get more solos and more solo opportunities. You really just get confident in doing harmonies. So then I just hear a chord and I just go, ah, I'll put that in there.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, as we say, if you're wrong, make it strong. Be strong and wrong.
That's literally perfect. Yeah, I love harmonies as well. I did choir. I haven't done like major musical theater y stuff, but I've definitely been in choir, and I was usually a second soprano, so I usually had like a harmony. And I think like I got better at doing harmonies in my own music for a really long time. It was like, extremely distracting to like sing harmonies and listen to my lead line to the point where like sometimes even now I'll like tell my producer like, can you just mute the main line and I'll sing the harmony line and then you can just like see if it fits because it distracts me. Oh man.
I was the same as you in choir. So I was second soprano a lot of the time. And then one year I decided I sat in altos, I sat in first sopranos, and I sat in second sopranos, each one in different semesters, just so I could feel what the other part felt like when they sang. And I tell you, I got so much more respect for altos. Because I was like, your part is hard.
For sure. Well, thank you for sharing your Christmas songs. Guys, go check those out. They're both amazing. So, I have three original Christmas songs. My first one is All I Want This Christmas, and I released that in 2020. That was actually my second single. And this is a special song to me. It's a piano ballad, and the message of it just captures what Christmas means to me. It's just like spending it with the ones I love. Like the end of the chorus says, I don't need the snow, don't need any packages with bows, because being with the ones who love me most is all I want this Christmas. And so it kind of captures like growing up, you see the wonder of Christmas and waiting to see what Santa will bring in the morning and waiting to see the presents under the tree. But really, like, what matters to me now is spending it with my loved ones. So that's all I want this Christmas. My second one is Snow on Christmas Day, and I released that one last year. That's a very fun, up-tempo, festive country pop song with sleigh bells, which I actually recorded live. It was such a journey. I give so much credit to percussionists. Like, I am really good with timing with my piano and classical training, but playing Jingle Bells live on a record for like a whole song straight and having to like shake them at the same velocity in time is hard. So shout out to percussionists. It's not easy. So that one is basically about how I love to be home for Christmas. Like, I love traveling and I love going to California. I love being in hot, warm places, especially wintertime in Pittsburgh. It gets really cold, and I'm not a huge fan of winter, but at the same time, I think it's really important to be home on Christmas. So that's what Snow on Christmas Day is about. And my brand new one that came out this year is called Winter Cold, which is also a piano ballad, and it features saxophone. I love this song so much. And I think this song is very different than many other Christmas songs because it's a little deeper than some. And basically, what this song is about is I'm using winter cold as a metaphor for maybe sadness and the darker moments of life. And some of those things can come up during the holidays because I think as Christmas time and New Year's as a very reflective time. And because things are winding down, I'm left with my thoughts a little more and I'm not as busy. And so sometimes negativity can creep in. And so I wrote this song as a way of me saying, despite the winter cold, I have hopes and dreams and these beautiful, sparkling moments and these positive moments that make me happy and keep me going and keep me feeling positive and hopeful. And so I'm basically saying, like, the fire in my heart burns gold and keeps out the winter cold. And the fire in my heart is all these things that keep me happy and positive. And so it's a little bit of a deeper message, but I think it's definitely relatable and touches on a side of Christmas and the holidays that I don't think is explored as much. So those are my three.
Check them out, everybody.
Yes, check all of them out and Lindsay's.
Yes.
So we wrote a Christmas song called Snows and Bows. I am so obsessed with this. So when you like came to me with this idea of a doo-wop style Christmas song, my initial thought was like, oh my gosh, no way. Like, I've never heard a Christmas song done like that before. And I was like completely on board. You sent me a playlist of some songs, and I was like, yes, let's totally do this. So, first, like, because you're the artist on this song, what does Snows and Bows mean to you, and what inspired the message behind it?
So, Snows and Bows. I originally, as you mentioned, had an idea for a doo-wop kind of sound because I've got so much respect from the doo-wop starting to come through in the 40s and 50s in America. And then even to far as modern day with Megan Trainor, she uses a fair bit of doo-wop inspired things in the music that she does. And I love the sound, I love the feel, I love the happiness kind of thing that you can feel in it and the emotion you can bring across. The close harmonies are absolutely gorgeous within that style of music. And it just wants you to sing along to it. So I thought, this is brilliant. This is awesome kind of style of music. And I was thinking, right, what matters to me at Christmas? So we do have the things that like I will admit, I do like it when I'm at home, if it snows outside and I've got hot chocolate and just that cozy feeling that you have inside. And other things that reminded me of Christmas was wrapping presents, just because, as I've mentioned before, I am awful at wrapping presents. I am not kidding. I have one bit of sellotape that goes on a nearby chair, after you cut it off and you've got, right, I'm going to use that bit. And then I use my hands to try and keep the paper down. And even before today, I've put my foot on top as well to try and keep the paper down. And then I end up somehow using nearly a whole roll of wrapping paper. So some poor people probably get these presents from me. And it's just nothing but wrapping paper. It's like a pasta parcel, but really badly done. So there's all of that. And I was thinking about modern day kind of Christmas. So ourselves, we don't have a chimney or a flue, but what we do have around Christmas time, we put you get them on Disney Plus do it, Netflix do it, where they have like a video of a crackling fire and then it plays Christmas carols over the top. So we like to do that. So I've made reference of that when we do get to the second verse where we're talking about apologies for my rap and the crackling of the fire on the high def TV screen.
It's fantastic. Honestly, like, I love this song so much because, as I mentioned earlier, with the sensory details, it's so important to have those in Christmas songs, and the way we did it in this song is so 100% you. Like, all the details in here, it's, like, so Lindsay. I'm still not over that part where it's like, "The greatest gifts are wrapped with love and tears. Forgive my rapping, please." Like, such a good line. It's just so cool. And it's so fun. I think the whole song just shimmers with festivity and, like, bringing that magic with the chorus. Like, I want to wake up to snows and bows on December 25th. It's like, all right, it's Christmas time. Like, give me the snow, give me the presents. Here we go. And I also really love your bridge. Can you talk a little bit about your little monologue in the bridge?
Yeah, so while I was wanting to make reference to everything that's what's fun about Christmas and wrapping up the presents, um, every year at Christmas time, I do genuinely ask that everybody in the world can have happiness and know true joy and not have a bad year because there's so many years or so many times in their lives where bad things can happen. So I beg and plead at Christmas that people do have happiness across the world, that everyone knows love and no one feels alone. Because we've all had moments where we feel alone and it's rubbish. It really is. And with Christmas, hopefully we can bring people together. So it's more like a grown-up Christmas list in a way. So it's about what do you really want for Christmas? I mean, yeah, we want gifts under the tree, but what do we really want?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a nice touch to the song, especially because you have your acapella ooze in the background. It's like very beautiful. I love that part. And I think it's a nice contrast with the rest of the song because the rest of the song is very fun. You can totally dance along to it. It's super feel good. And I really like how everything in the bridge kind of strips back and you kind of say, listen, like, yes, all this stuff is amazing, but this is what's important to me. And I think that's really cool because when you get people listening and you get people excited from the rest of the song, you kind of get them thinking at the bridge and then you go back into the chorus at the end. And so I think that was incredible. And it's definitely your little Christmas list. So awesome job with the bridge. I love it. That's one of my favorite parts of the song.
Oh, you know me, I love a good harmony line. I really do. So yeah, I had lots of fun bringing that down and making it all a cappella and working out chords as well that worked well. The first time I did it, I accidentally did what's called the devil's chord. And I was like, oh, can't have that in a Christmas song. So I very quickly rewrote it and made it more major and more warming and more comforting to bring everything together, which then has the lovely monologue going over the top.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely think it captures the whole thing we talked about with the quote of capturing a feeling. Like, you cannot listen to the song and not feel Christmas. It's impossible. So, if there's one thing listeners can take away from Snows and Bows, what do you hope it is?
I hope it's excitement for what's Christmas is coming, special Christmas wishes, snow, but also having a moment to reflect on what matters.
Beautiful. Well, I'm so honored I got the opportunity to write the song with you. Everybody, definitely go check out Snows and Bows. It's incredible. I'm biased, but it's incredible. Definitely go check it out. And congrats, Lindsay, on an incredible song. Before we go, what are some final thoughts you would like to share about Christmas as a whole?
I think if I could share just a few things, it would be remember how special this time is and this occasion is. Enjoy yourself. Um, Try not to hurt anybody. Try not to let anyone hurt you. And if you do see anybody sad and alone at Christmas, let them know they're not alone and send them some love.
Beautiful. Thank you so much again for joining me, Lindsay. This has been such a fantastic, festive chat, all things Christmas. Before we go, please share with the listeners where they can find you on social media and check out your music.
Sure. So the best place to find me is on www.lindseyfarrow.com, and that'll link you to all my performances, my videos, my music, plus all my social media at the bottom. And also, if you do want to check me out directly, you can check me out Twitter at Linz Sings, Instagram at Lindsey_Farrow, Facebook at Linz Sings, YouTube is Lindsey Farrow, and TikTok is real_Lindsey Farrow. As I say, it's all on my website, so that might be easier.
Well, thank you so much again, Lindsay, for joining me. Listeners, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And until next time,
Stay
stay
right
right
on
on
track.
track.